G'day, today we're continuing on playing Islanders. Now, just before we leave the 11th island, I thought I'd show you this. So, my current score is now my new highest score. So, at the end of each game, what I'll try and do is remember to show where my online rank is shifted to. So, I think from my previous run, I was about 4,060 or so. So, we have climbed up to 3844. So, need to see that that's starting to move as well. Here we go for the very first time, making it to Island 12. Ooh, alright. Okay, so let's just work out. Well, firstly, let's see what we get in a statue. Okay. Okay, 3 statues. So, what we really want is placement for towns where we can have overlooks to them, because that's generally where we're going to make our biggest money. So, one town's definitely up here, and I would say that's going to belong to the wealthy because they've got the gold. But then if I was to put, say, a second town here, they're way far removed. Same goes for here. Is there anything on this side? Nothing there. That's tiny. So it means that the second town would have to be over here. Now, to me, that actually says that I want this to be the small town. Maybe it is this side, and I'll just have to see if I can hang things off that. Okay, so gonna get 15. Oh, I guess for our 3 statues here. So we'll put one in there. We will put one central with this guy too. Not really makes sense to put him against that, because that automatically blocks out a side of him that can't be used. So it's sort of central to a point where we can have guys surrounding him. So I would say about there. And I won't use the third one yet. We'll go to lumber because there's a fair few houses around. What is that? Just a tiny little lip of sand. So the other thing is that I want a spot that I need to keep in mind for, say, a brewery and the plants that I want to put around it. Now, a brewery can go down on the sand here. They are also already throwing its brickworks. That's interesting. A tree so big it's worth 3. I've not seen one of them before. Almost this is the ideal spot for the brewery and the plants. And that would mean that down here would be where we want to put the other town. So maybe let's do that. Let's go. And again, we don't want to register him against a wall. So central to the area, but also central to places we can have things around him. It's a tricky one down here. This is going to make for a real wild little placement in my town, but I think that I think the worth I could get from a brewery is it's definitely over there. Now, again, that means that I've got to place these guys away from those town locations. So 7. Grab 7 for him. Then try and sneak this guy in. 7 as well. And if we put that guy on that side for 5, and then center that guy for 21. So I'm going to go the brewing pack first. Because when you, like I've said a few times, when you're this early in a game, that's so crooked, that, that tower. Do these guys care for the tower? They do. Lovely. When you're this early in a game, you don't want to get your city pack and be forced to have to separate where your, be forced to have to cram your mansions and your houses together, which I did have in one game in this one. So we will go the city pack now. I think that we're going to be fine because we've already got statues in each of those areas. So they're like, we can say place this guy and get 20, like already get big numbers for the placement. The idea that the, like, say the houses won't be placed without anything, because they will have at least a statue with them. We will try and hold out for the second town hall, though, before we start placing out normal houses. Which means that we want to try and place these guys. We can get 9 there. Get 10 for that guy down there. There's so many lumberjacks that they've started us off with here. That's our masons. So again, the masons will help. This is why we wanted brewery pack nice and early. They can really get us going. That's why we've also rewarded them such a fine piece of land. It's in our town down here. Okay, so we'll give him 20. And we can start to try and wedge houses around that. I've just got enough room to fit some guys in between the two. Now he doesn't like it. Now the farming pack I actually don't want to put up here with the brewery. That's a different vibe for what the brewery is going to be giving me. Mainly because the ultimate goal of this area here will be a lot of parks. The monument, possibly, if there's enough parks up there. And I should have put this guy in a little bit earlier too. I guess let's go as far around as we can with that guy. And the resort oases. So the plan is that these are 3 different locations that we have that will yield the most gain. That means that, say, these mills are going to be sort of pushed off to the edge. Whereas I like the masons, so possibly somewhere down here if I can get masons on those walls. So we'll try and hold off using them yet. Go back to our mansions. Definitely need these guys to be able to see both. It's early stage, we want them seeing both the city center and the tower. Give us that really quick injection of levels to get through. Okay. So we can see that there is a lot of stuff going on in this area that the shaman will like. Lose 10 if I've got him too close to the city center, but again, it's only 10. And the value that he'll give me for being so close to these guys from the houses that are near this, I'll take that. I'm going to undo that actually, because what we want to do is I'll put this guy on this side of town, just where he can reach them, but right next to that guy. And then on this side, we'll drop him, I guess for the 13 we'll take, he's just sort of there. Because if we did it the opposite way, we wouldn't be able to fit both in. You can see now we can grab a nice 23 from guys that can see all 3 of these buildings. And then it sort of, it dips a little bit, because then we've got guys that can only see the 2. That's okay. So seeing 2 of them is better than seeing nothing. Alright, let's get him in there. Fishes never feel like they're going to bring much money. Although, these fishes might actually be able to see... Do they like masons? They don't, but they can. They do like both city centers and the monument. So 13 for one of them's fine. 10 for one of these guys isn't too bad. Bring him a little bit further around so that houses will also benefit from him. Now there are things like mesas, plateaus, sorry, not mesas, plateaus that will really enjoy being near a lot of masons. So if I can get a lot of masons in an area and then drop plateaus right next to them, that's big points too. Something we're also working for. You can see we can start to now get these guys hugging in between the 2, giving us good points. Got our 2 different projects of cities here, doing a good job in making us some party points. Can I get him to hug that way? Yeah. Alright, we'll put him up there. It's not as much points as everything else, but it's more in a spot that he can fit that no one else would be able to. He can fit in there. I'm not sure if one of the houses could actually make that gap. Same as that. Same as that. So that's 28. This side, these guys are gaining 31. I mean, already these guys make more on the mansion placements. On that side, he's so much removed from everyone else. I feel like it's a pretty good spot. I'll have a look to see if houses can fit in that, so we might try avoiding placing him yet. More of these lumberjacks. Apparently only got the 2 sawmills. All of this. Is there 5 somewhere up here? Definitely take a 23 for one of them. Alright. Start our long-term investment of huts. Now, 16 is a good gain for that. I'm gonna actually put him this side to hug, because it's more going to be any more fields that we get. They'll like that, but I'm putting him on that side so that potentially resort oases can go on this side and be a little bit happier. So the question of well, not this particular guy, can houses fit into these gaps that have been left? He's not fitting up there. He's going to fit in there. Yes, okay, so since we're getting 22 for a house, when we'd only be getting 28 for a fountain, now 30, I think it's worth going the house. This guy, we basically want him as close to the other guy as possible, without touching. Alright, so here's the other test. And he does fit in there too. Alright, cool. So we'll allow that to continue to go to houses. Does mean that this guy we more want to end up over here. The 13, 8, 12's up there. If we go down here, 16s. It's not really... I suppose the fountain's going to be what I want to make a move with. Because this is the outskirts of town on this side, that's why I'm going over here, because it means another fountain can go on that side without getting seen by that one. Having them unhappy. Two, 8 up that way. Still more of these, man. Really banking on me making the most of my this one tree. We are gonna live off him. Okay. So let's just have an idea of where this guy can go. Now he can go in the water as well. So you can see that already we can gain real nice numbers from him, and that's actually a pretty good spot there. I think that temples also really like masons, so I like that. I almost want to hold off placing it to see if we can get some more more money for it. So let's have a look at what we can get for our shaman. Sometimes it's just worth placing a shaman somewhere where they're going to get a good score. So we'll place him there. as a good score as opposed to an investment onto to get the good someone else a good score. That's basically what I mean there. I mean, obviously we want to place guys to get a good score. It's the whole reason we're here. All right, so we'll slot him in there. Have another fountain. And slot him on that side to get 34, but that's prime royal location for mansions coming in, because in here you might be able to see all three of these guys. So we really don't want to take that. 15 for a park, though, is going to be quite good. I suppose if we get up near the fountain, we're going to get some good numbers for these guys. Probably too early for a tower, whereas I know exactly where the brick industry gets to go. Oh, a hop field. Hopefully should pull in some huge numbers for us. Because it's got 2 hop fields that can get around. We're almost a little too spread for the parks to really benefit from what's going on over there. Now, that seems like it should be where the brickyard should go, but the brickyards do also really like masons. But the other things that like masons don't necessarily like brickyards. So possibly they are just going to be bitched on the far side. So he's just out of range that he can't reach. These guys have such short range. Such short-sightedness from the mansions. Now, I think that the plan was that I want that there, because you can see the whole top of it is exposed as well. So basically that just means we don't want to set up any guys any further to the left than that line. I think that we want to set this guy just in a sort of that 20. What else do they like? City Center, Mason, Plateau, Statue, Seaweed Field. These guys are letting me, like, place them hybridly underneath the thing there, which doesn't seem right, but I'm going to take it because I think it'll benefit the houses that get placed after it. These sand pits, I think they're just roll away. Let's just chip over to the next level thanks to that sand pit. Just too wide to fit him inside that gap. Go that way. Suppose, can I hug him in there? Sort of. The warehouses have a little bit to gain on this side. A little bit there. No real major plant spot for them. Doesn't mean that I need to get this field going. Now, he can't go on sand. So maybe even down there, it's not a huge area. But I don't want to be placing things that I otherwise could make huge scores of. In spots that don't really work. We may as well just get this guy out who's just gonna give us a healthy amount. You can see here that I've obviously placed him just too high. I should have forced him a little bit further this way, so that first one was just against the line there. .54 is a good get. I'm not even sure I should be waiting for anything else to happen here. I don't think anything I'm holding is more valuable at this point. Like, everything else is a bit better off being, like, waiting to find something good. And let's see. Possibly this placement over here for the 20 is still going to be worthwhile, even though he's right next to another guy. I think that's probably as good as we're going to see. $21, 15, 14, 21. I do sort of want him a bit removed as well, because I know there's some things that don't like him. So let's find that 21 in there. We can easily place this guy, and he can just go... This guy's range is pretty solid. So, for example, we can get him in there, and he can see the gold mine. So we'll put the gold mine on the north side, because he doesn't need to be right up against the town at all. You can see it sort of be a little bit further away. He boosts that gold mine up to a 46, but want to... I've had some real good placements of gold mines recent times, so we think that's what we want to hold out for. Potentially, if we can, when we get our overhangs up here, that's what we want to put the gold mine on. Sorry, not the gold mine, the jewelry store on, because it will see everyone and bring in some real big money. It's a bummer that we don't have much in the way of a worthwhile warehouse locations. And I realize that we're quite spread. So I can get 12 for this guy by placing him in a spot where he can see all the fields. We can get 20 if we have him just seeing a few of the fields from afar. Alright, so these guys are getting a little bit removed from town now. So 14 up on the ridge. I think that's what we'll take. Shove the brickyard down here. Dangerously close to the water. Have a look at our fountain options. 31. So he likes the parks as well. It's one of the few things that's also appreciating the parks along with all the houses. He's not going to like seeing that other park that's in there. So I think that we'll take the 31, 34. We're getting up there. $16, $19. Like a 19. Okay, so this is where we can start to look at the Resort Oasis. So, hop fields, plateaus, water plateaus, parks, fountains, statues. So we're at 84. Now we don't really want to force this guy to move. 97, what's he 97 there? Is it flowers? Okay, so we kind of want to reserve this space here for our mate, the Resort Oasis. Which means that we want to try and cram as many parks as we can around that area. Let me just get an idea of the spot. So it was sort of, it's on this side of that park. So if we were on this side over here, that's acceptable. If we were over here, that's acceptable. So I did have a 14 just there. I think if we had a fountain too, we'd place that. Take anything that's like a 14 in that. We'll, so he is definitely one we're going to try and hold off until, and he's going to be our break glass in case of emergency at the point we place him, because he's our first real game changer. Okay, so let's get some more of our game. Keep the same as in. So this guy's wedged between a shaman and a fountain. Be pretty happy. Surprised that we haven't seen any more masons come in. Anything flat enough in here that these guys will happily consider themselves being placed. I'll place this guy first. Let's try and figure out the market. Okay, so one for him there, 6 for him there. I guess we'll, if we say stuff him there, and then get 36 for this guy. That's lower than it was before. I get him sitting slightly higher. There we go. Sort of out here. He doesn't even have to be wedged close. He can sort of just extend our land out this way. But I think this strategy of just using plateaus as a money gaining drop does seem very worthwhile. Make sure I'm not getting into where he was, which was over that side, so this space here is still fair game. Also go up there. Alright, tower position. So 39 if he's seeing those maces. We can get him right at the back of the city. 39 that way. He likes the parks, but doesn't care for much else going on over there. Nothing. Alright, so we'll drop this guy around 39. As far away as we can get him, which I'd say is there. So, this guy likes fountains. Parks like fountains. Fountains like parks. But everything about this coupling it's only a 21 placement though, but that 21 would then improve the park placement by 4 for anyone that I put after that. And it would increase my other guy. Let's have a quick look at what we can get for a park placement on this side. 14, 20, 15, 25. Yeah, okay. Let's need to work on our green fields. See what we can do with the tavern. Can he squeeze them apart down here? Yep. So, also nicely on the side of town. We actually want to put him up as far as he'll go, just in case they give us a second tavern. We could slot him on the other side. We do have 2 markets now as well, so we can get 37 for one here. But the market's going to get 20 for a warehouse placement, so we would certainly want to have our warehouse, well, at least one of our warehouses down, not both, prior to the placement. I think he cares for up there, not really. And we don't want to soil our beautiful parks area. So I think that what we want is 14. Is really 14 the best we're going to get? I think we need to try and hold out for more masons for that guy. And these guys are really dropping their value too, to the point that maybe we shouldn't place them yet. 1. And we actually don't want him to sort of travel this way too far because we don't want the Resort Oasis to see him. The value of this guy is definitely not worth that. So let's take 7 in there. Basically attempting to chip over the line here using stuff that we don't care about. 7. Oh. Alright, second plateau makes it a little bit more like welcoming to sort of drop one of the plateaus down just for the score that he'll bring us. And the market's liking all of this that he can see. I think 36 there. A better position. Though possibly that's blocking this guy from having a better position. So let's experiment with that. So if we go 36 there, and then get that guy in there for 28. Excuse me. Yeah, this guy really likes being down this way. Really likes it. If we can get him in there. Let's try and squeeze the second one in there for no gain. And then... Alright, he can't see that guy when he's sitting there. So let's remove him and flip him. We put him there. This guy can then see him. So... The negative of putting him there is that it means that the other market that gets placed won't be able to see him. Get 16 for this guy. So possibly what I could do is place this here. Yeah, I think this is the play. I think we go this guy here. Plateau there. Market there. Market there. Basically having 2 different guys, and then we go and get another plateau as well. Having 2 guys, markets being able to see 2 warehouses is definitely the big way to do markets. Who was it that liked seaweed fields? Someone that didn't expect. Can't remember. Oh, good. So let's start getting our seaweed fields planted. I reckon we'll do it over here. Let's start with a guy this way. Monument. Okay. So talk to me, Monument, about your likes. Temple, city center, park, statue. So we don't have a city center, but we have a whole lot of parks. He actually does like those brewery fields. I didn't even check if that was the case. So if I put you over here, what do you think? No, you're not sold. Okay. So we're hanging out for a wall overhang for you, I'd say. $21. So you're destined for a town. 28 there. 37 there. Sorry, we're just holding on to these guys, aren't we? Because we're not getting any good value for their placements. Double figures will take it. The give and take of these guys is so, like, either you get 3 for, you lose 3 for placing them, you get 4 for having one of those guys see it. Any of these little ledge things you happily sit on? I could see one of those guys. Let me try that again. That's better. Okay. Now this guy likes water plateaus, but I can't imagine that any plateau here is going to get anywhere near enough to what makes this guy happy. I'm of the opinion that plateau could be placed anywhere. They love these sawmills. Shamefully, those sawmills aren't close enough to the water, just that one. 20 for him. I suppose I do have a plan. I could use him over here with the seaweed farm, so I won't spend him just yet. But a fishery. Four, 6. Alright, we won't worry about you just yet. Okay, so a balloon. Seeing all the wonders of the town over here. Take 55. The mansion we're holding on to. The houses we can probably play. You slot into that gap there. Alright, here we go. Wall plateau time. So, we're going to start with our wall plateau on this side. Have a look at what we can do here. 80. Now, if I was to put a second wall plateau, he's going to get so much higher that he's not going to be able to bid on it. I think that possibly that 80 is going to be as good as we're going to see. Let's pull that out for a second. We'll have a look to see what we can do in town over here, because he likes masons. He loves masons. We could possibly get 80 from those 3 masons. $138. Alright, well I guess we know who's going to get the temple. Now that doesn't mean that the guys at the top aren't going to get a overhang. They certainly are. So that is going to be where we put our gold mine, and we're going to get 76 for him. But it also means that we can place more of these guys get okay scores for them, which is basically the expectation of these houses now. So if we just have a look, because he's going to gain from having these houses nearby him. If I put, say, that guy there, can he still fit in that gap there? He can. Good. The parks are his real big thing, and I've pulled so many parks out from that other side that he's not really going to gain too much from it. But let's have a look to see if we can just get a second plateau hanging over town. Because that, I think these guys are going to inherit that anyway. Now, or I think possibly the because it sort of hangs back over the existing one, it won't be able to go there with a 17 just about there. I reckon that's probably enough in that we might be okay. $24 is still, I mean, there's no parks in this area at all either. 35. What's your feeling on that guy? You don't care about him? Okay. Alright, so we've picked up the last of our different items with the walls. So it now means that we are just extra things that we've already got. I think 21 for him is as good as we're going to see. Another market. If this was slightly more to the right, but even that's fine. He's not seeing that market at the top. You see the two down the bottom. I'll take 53 for a weird market placement at this stage. Alright, we've got 2 more mansions to place. So we're getting... getting 10 for them a moment ago, so 20 is a nice gain, especially for the boost that they're giving to this guy. So we're currently working on 2 major projects of placing the jewelry store and still haven't placed our Oasis yet. There's a 17 up there, but is that too far away from here? Like, would you see that? Yeah, you'd see that. Okay. I think. Let's find out. Yes. Oh, he doesn't like the brewery fields, so that's actually working against him. So the further we possibly go up this way, a 57 for him. I'll take 64 for that guy, I reckon. Just make sure that's left enough room for this guy. It has, good. So he's still in there, 96. And this is where we need to just make sure these guys are sitting underneath, really. There's a spot that you can get in. Got these gaps on this side. 13. I'll take 13. Brickyard. Yeah, let's take 10. And the next thing that we really need to plan for is our huts. That's something that we don't really have any sort of current build plan for. So possibly down this side here. If we can get some more city centers in. Now knowing where this is, if we can get a shaman or two in that area. Sort of be our big score bring homing. Place at 36 for a house. Absolutely. I don't even remember what the original plan of that was. Possibly there wasn't one, but 36 for houses. I will take. Absolutely. Loves seaweed, doesn't like seaweed farms. Loves to see it, but gets so cut up when he knows that someone's gonna harvest it. So we'll put him there because that he'll benefit the huts as they go down. Definitely do the house first because these ones are going to be our big money items at the moment. 7. Does a plateau like anything up here? No. Really, we need to start moving these guys elsewhere, I'd say. We'll go 5, but I reckon that'll be our point that we can now bring this guy in. We'll take 111. Because then we can just start to look elsewhere for where we place our houses. Would he be seen if he's on that far side? Maybe not. Oh, we also don't need this edge over here. Potentially, though, we could always get given a second resort oasis. So possibly there's just some good spots up here now. There we go, 17. So if I've moved to putting them up there, I would say it is time that we place our 144 resort oasis. Hey. Let's talk tower. I would imagine that the lower city is going to be the better spot. So 29 up here. 17 over there. So it just has to be on the opposite side of town to that one. 52. 52 it is. Let's hoping he could wedge in far enough that he could see 2 of them. Okay, so what we'll do then is we'll have a look at where's a good placement for one. I was actually gonna. He was open to being placed there. Okay. We are starting to edge towards making our next island. You're getting 36 for just house placements. You're feeling good. I don't want one of the dogleg guys to pick that spot. Okay, so we now have 4 mansions that I don't think are going to gain much from being up here. So we know that they can get plateau bonus for being on this thing. Can we get a plateau up there? But really these guys up here would be where we want. And everything else I know about these guys, surely you should let me slot that up there. 16 doesn't seem worthwhile for the real estate it would take out. 8. Don't know about that. Huts, do you like plateaus? You don't care about plateaus, okay. Alright, farms, not farms, fields. Fields, are you happy about this guy's up here? There's something that you can gain up there, or you don't care too much? Alright, I guess we're now sort of a bit more unleashed that we can just place these guys wherever we want them. We will go on the assumption that we're not getting a second resort oasis. Okay, town center. So with this guy, 23 if we sort of put him down enough that he can see those guys. There's not enough gain in that town to justify putting him too far up there. Still getting 24 that way, which isn't too bad. We'll go 23 there, because then those guys can see him in their little spot. Back to our weird little fields. How far up can you go? 15 there. Really anything double digits from these guys will still take. Got more fields, but not really much of a way of places to place them. See, I can strategically use one of these guys to try and get another seaweed farm close to that, but notice these guys like wall plateaus as well. I guess it's about being further up. These guys, I guess I'm going to have to place down here just because they're going to gain. That's what I wanted. Okay, so this guy here, if I can slot him in there, then it means that for these 4 fields, they can at least sort of see something that makes them a little bit happy. Alright, a second gold mine. No, jewelry store, sorry. Apologies. Gold mine. Apologies, jewelry store. 56. Obviously, anywhere too close to this guy is going to have a huge drop-off in his value, but so much gain here that might not be too bad. So I think 56 is our winner, though. Jasmine guys back here will gain 7 for being near both the jewelry shop and the fountain. Still not huge money. $16's a nice get. Actually, I can turn him and still get 16. He doesn't have to. No. He does have to be on that weird angle to get 16. Alright, he can get 8 being in here. And that will nestle him enough that he'll see those huts too. Huts generally the last thing I place. And you can see in a level like this, I do still need that tiny extra bit that they're possibly going to give us. So we are definitely going to need their help. These guys can see each other, and oh, there's another field one. So people think that that means I want to get that guy out of the way, because if we move this guy and we'll say put him over here, we can get slightly more points for him, and then wedge this guy in there, and then more fields can gain from him possibly too. Let's see what walls we can place around these guys to just quickly jump us to a new level. Certainly parts of that town up there that are already finished. Alright, wrong way to dogleg. $18 for a park down here. I suppose that we're not seeing enough houses now that like that real estate is going to be heavily in demand. Still 8 is the... Nothing... I've changed nothing and somehow nothing has changed. How disappointing. 9 down there. But I want to put, like... I think that it's just going to be populated by these guys who can see multiple plateaus and then be happy. And so we gain much more than we've gained out of any of those mansions in a long time from that placement. That's too long to squeeze in there. There we go. We've made the next island. We will live to fight another day. And we've still got, and we haven't even broken the seal on our huts too. Always nice. So that fish is in the way. That one, but we'll take 20 points for that guy. Are you okay in the water down there, are you? Okay. Can I wedge you between them in the water? Let's look at the town up here. It's probably, this one's more finished, I'd say, since I'm not even placing engines up this way. Nice little courtyard. Yield one. There's only going to get 8 if you can't see that other fisher, so there's not really too much to gain. Because he's not going to be able to see the huts from over there either. And in there is actually right in the way of the placing more fields, even though we're not getting fields anymore. Okay, so 2 more walls. On principle, I think I'd rather not block the park area in. Okay, and then we can start to work on these guys. We're only getting 23 per placement at the moment, though, so they're not some of the monsters that we've had in the past. So 14 down there. These guys that are even more out of the way, we'll put in that spot. We always sort of come to the huts last, because there's always a chance that something that we're placing here actually will benefit the huts. Like we might get another town center or fishery or something. Put a line down now, we already put a thing on it. I did like this didn't look like the most convincing gap for a city, and it's ended up being a much more sort of vibrant and usable city than what that was up on the hill. It's a nice result. 424 if we pull a little bit further forward here. There we go. 2 of them. So, I want one down this way. I really want the other one that way. Huts do not like masons, so we will put this guy down here where he likes everything. Wall's still coming at us. I suppose we don't want to go too close to the... I think it bested me that I've got a wall in the back edge of these forest area. We have now started to swing those walls so close that these guys are unhappy with it. Then we can just find a new home on the wedged on that side too. Alright, 36 now that they can see the 2 extra town halls. Brickyard. Guys will fight to the death to argue that they are a valued part of this society. There's no room back down there for you. My a regular video complaint that I don't think that the mansion should not like the walls. Alright, 27 there. I think it's 28, 29, 30. 45, 48, I think I had, right next to the other guy. We could get another seaweed farm. We could get loaded here. One last big hurrah for them. Alright, so 6, 14, go. Sure, I don't think we're getting enough. Actually, could I end more from that up there? Yeah. He's not straight. Let's do that a third time. In fact, I wonder if he can actually go up on the hills or anything. This is most of these field plateaus I feel like I've gotten. Alright, so basically what we need is a guy that can get in and really only see one of these guys, which I would say is about, I mean, possibly we could just place him right next to this guy. We run out of spots for mansions again. Yeah, let's find a shaman hut that we can just sort of trample everything near him. I'm not happy to fit in that gap. Yeah. Then immediately not feel safe and put a wall next to you. Let's get those 35s. That 34. Barley field. Still 19 out of that. There's plenty of value in those barley fields. Actually, let's slot this guy here. So I reckon this guy might dig in a little bit closer to that. And this is our last play. It doesn't really matter where it goes. So we can sell our soul on the placement. There we go. Another successful outing. So that's sort of our town there, because there's no really nice shot to see the other guy. So what we'll do just quickly is we'll hit save there. You can see that's our old rank, 3844, but if we click on it, it'll revisit, and that has bumped us up to 3076. Now over the 50,000. Very nice. Yeah. Any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. And until next time, catch you later.